Okay, gang. Those trick-or-treaters are a real pain in the arse, and I want to be undisturbed this Halloween. So, let's get the fortifications in place. Miss Havisham, you make sure the punji sticks out front are extra pungent, if you get my meaning. Andy, get the boiling oil on the roof ready, and try not to scald yourself. If push comes to shove, use the old hose pipe attached to the septic tank to spray them away, like we do with Jehovah's Witnesses. Move, people! Hello, Smack Talk fans. It's Halloween, and it's a time to look back on a horror film and give my spooky critique. I shall review a classic film. This one really stuck in my mind when I thought about what to review. It came out many years ago. It stars Jamie Lee Curtis in a role she wouldn't forget. Yes, you know the one. That's right, I'm reviewing Virus. Yes, Jamie Lee Curtis wouldn't forget this role because by her own admission, it was the biggest piece of shit she ever starred in. And that's saying something. Virus is based on the comic of the same name, made by Dark Horse. It's about a salvage crew that come upon a weird alien virus that has infected a ship and turned the crew into zombie robot things. It's your standard ghost ship story, but with robots. The creator thought it couldn't be made for the big screen, so made the comic instead. But then the comic got made into a movie anyway. Go figure. It was back in the 90s when Dark Horse Comics was getting in on the film action. They are responsible for turning some of their stuff into movies of varying quality, like the cartoonish The Mask and cartoonishly bad Barbed Wire. Then there was Virus, a massive flop. The movie begins with some Russians at sea in a top-notch science vessel working on, I don't know, the latest Russian bots for the mainstream media to blame all their problems on. They have an uplink with the Mir space station. That's dated. These poor cosmonauts look outside to see blue space snot heading their way. They get hit with space lightning that beams down to the vessel and starts zapping Ivans and Dimitris. Then, ominous fade to black. A week passes, and we are introduced to a diverse salvage crew. We have Jamie Lee Curtis, back when she was still in her horror movie prime. Now she looks like an angry gender studies teacher. Donald Sutherland is a grizzled, salty sea dog of a captain called Everton. A Baldwin brother who isn't Alec Baldwin, so don't expect much. Maori guy, black guy, Latino guy, and panicky guy, Marshall Bell. He always plays panicky guys. These poor miscreants are riding out a terrible storm in a little diddy tugboat, which doesn't go too well as they lose their precious cargo. Sutherland is pissed because he won't get a fat payday, but they happen to come across the not Mary Celeste, and the dollar signs start flashing. A big Russian science vessel is the ultimate salvage, so the crew board it and do the whole Scooby-Doo and the gang shtick. All is not what it seems on the creepy abandoned ship. Who would have thought it? Something went down, but the idea of making money off Putin's ship of nightmares is too much to pass up. They power up the ship, and things get spooky. Little machines start popping up, the crew's boat gets anchored to shit, and a really big sign that something is wrong is when a crazy Russian lady pops out, spewing bullets and backstory. Yep, something is definitely amiss. The masked shooter is some bint called Nadia, who's traumatized as fuck, and was the one who powered down the ship. What the fuck was Nadia doing for several days after the virus got powered down? She just decided to hide in a locker for days wearing a gas mask? Is that a sexual thing? The crew quickly find out what they're dealing with, and it's fucking horrifying. A biomechanical virus with devious intentions. It wants to kill the crew and use them for spare parts. I really like the monster concept. I think it's brilliant. An entity which lacks a corporeal form, so it creates makeshift ones out of machine parts and human biology. It clearly plays homage to The Thing at one point, but that aside, it has some great body horror, truly gruesome stuff. Just look at this mess. It's like when I try and make my own soup. But it makes terrific robot designs, like this huge Goliath robot. You've also got Johnny Five's angsty 9-inch nails loving cousin. Then there's the cute Meccano robot. Aww. The virus does assimilate people into low-budget Borgs too, but that just involves sticking a camera in your eye socket and calling it a day. There are a few times where the psychobots are unintentionally funny.
Do you speak English?
Fuck you!
English.
But look how polite the killer robots are.
Robert Everton.
Everton, table for one, right this way, sir. Even when they assimilate Captain Everton, the robots let him keep his captain hat. Well, isn't that nice? Why, the virus is simply a misunderstood nightmarish mishmash of flesh and metal. Although it does violate your ear holes with its pig-in-heat screams. Bloody hell! Hello, Tinnitus. Come on in. With a creepy movie monster like this, the movie should be alright. Nope, it's a flop for a reason. The acting is really bad. Everyone acts like they have a dry corn on the cob up their ass, except for Nadia, who's a twitchy, crazy cat lady. But the acting really polishes the turd near the third act, when they try and talk to the viral entity via a computer.
You are virus.
Damn, Eliza needs to lay off the testosterone. After a lousy cyber session with the evil voice modulator, every character breaks their brain. Why now? Why not when you saw that man-machine Sloppy Joe earlier? The black guy inexplicably goes crazy and cosplays as Tinker Tom from Fallout 4. His performance is great, in a bad way. He's composed for most of the film and then just suddenly snaps, running and gunning and stocking up on explosives like they're on sale. Meanwhile, Nadia is thinking about what breed of cat is her favorite, Jamie Lee Curtis is confused by everything, but especially her career choices, and one of the Baldwin brothers is just there. Thanks for showing up, I guess. I was expecting more from the Maori warrior character. He's got a traditional warrior club, badass tattoos, and tries to do some sort of acting, I think.
Said it was electrical like lightning.
Yes.
So what happens when lightning hits water?
It grounds out!
That's right, it grounds out, it dissipates, and then it dies. That means we can kill this thing.
No idea what that was. He doesn't get his big moment. No, he gets swept out by a big wave. The Polynesian seafaring gene must have skipped a generation. Captain Everton says, screw it, might as well team up with this sentient computer virus because I got nothing else going on right now. Seems a bit extreme to give up and join the virus. Maybe he was drunk. Maybe that was everyone's motivation in this film. It was probably the motivation of the actors after this film too. As a storm bears down on the crew, Everton shows up as a freaky cyborg who is utterly inept at killing. The killbots haven't improved him, they've handicapped him. This is how you do a cool and sleek cyborg. They just took Sutherland's head and stuck it on the torso of a bloated sailor. What the fuck does this fiddly thing even do? Why the captain's hat? Why? No surprise, he's completely ineffective and dies within 5 minutes of making his entrance. Donald Sutherland, just take your paycheck and go. The gang decide they must blow up the ship to stop the virus reaching land and spreading. But the virus quits fucking about and brings out its best form, the Goliath. I'm in awe at the size of this lad. Absolute unit! This thing looks cool and can take a beating. Although, occasionally, it does switch to CGI, but for the most part, it's creepy looking. Everyone tries to kill this beast, but to no avail. Even Nadia tries to take a crack at him by harnessing the power of 1,000 crazy cat ladies. But in the end, only 2 bland characters remain and escape by a convenient ejector seat. Okay. Come to think of it, why does a boat have an ejector seat that fucks you off into the ocean? It's good for a climactic, explosive ending with bad Superman flying effects, but it's baffling to say the least. Black Demolition Man's best anarchist cookbook recipe goes off, killing my boy Goliath and destroying a fine Kremlin cruise ship. The end. Not even a hint at a sequel. No virus on a floppy disk like in the comic. A killer sentient virus is only 1.44 megabytes, don't you know? This film could have been better. Now, as much as I shit on the medium of film, I understand that making films is really, really hard. So much can go wrong, and it's a shame that Virus is lackluster. Loads of effort and work went into making some great animatronics and creature designs. Good stuff, in my opinion. But so many other parts of the film undo all that effort. If only the acting and story were better. Could have been a cult classic. Well, I think Universal and Dark Horse thought this movie was going to be bigger than it actually was. There was even a terrible video game tie-in for the PlayStation that was critically panned. Ugh. An actual virus would have been preferable to this janky mess. What's really weird is there are action figures for this R-rated box office poison. That was the thing back in the 90s, having toys for films that had an adult rating. Weird. Why they made a toy line, I do not know. But I did manage to find some of this plastic crap on eBay. I'm a generous man, so I got my editor a little something for all his hard work.
It's a Donald Sutherland action figure from the hit film Virus. What I've always wanted, said No Kid at Christmas. Ages 10 and up. That's... Really? This is appropriate for kids ages 10 up? It's pretty grotesque. So why does Donald Sutherland have breasts? There's like a distinct bosoms there. What other ones can you get? What other action figures? Oh, look, all your childhood favorites are here. There's Gentle Goliath. And there's Squeaky.
Steve.
And Captain Alexei. Fuck it, I'll open up my present. I don't think any toy collectors are gonna regret me opening this box. Ugh. Ugh, it's pretty gruesome. I'm sure lots of kids played with this toy. He's got breasts. He's definitely got breasts. No robot legs. He had robot legs in the movie. Let's see if I can make him look normal. His joints are it's really crappy, cheap plastic. Okay, that's one arm done. There we go. For all my editing efforts, my very own miniature Donald Sutherland. Don't know what I'm going to do with the... Oh, something broke. Oh, that killed 10 minutes. So, that's what I get for all my hard work editing the Professor's videos. I think this calls for a nice big bottle of bleach.
Yeah, I'm gonna drink all that. Fuck it all. Heh! Classic Paul. Virus. It's a typical B-movie. Watch it if you're having a bad movie night with friends. Now, I'm going to look at a film that came out this year and generated quite a bit of buzz online. Oh, Mandy, well, you came and you gave me a migraine. I bewildered myself lately by watching Mandy, directed by Panos Cosmatos, which is an unfortunate name because Panos is the medical term for when your obese gut hangs over your genitals, or as the kids call it, a gunt. Anywho, I'm familiar with this gunt's work. I've seen Beyond a Black Rainbow, which I think had some beautiful visuals, but a really naff ending. Mandy, what's it about? Well, there's a girl called Mandy, for starters, and Nicolas Cage is in it. Lots of drugs. Lots and lots of drugs. An evil cult, and a BDSM biker with a dildo knife. The fuck did I watch? It's supposed to be a cosmic horror revenge thriller of some kind, I guess. That's what I watched. It was madder than a barrel of rabid monkeys, I tell you. The film starts off very slow and dreamlike, pretty visuals and gentle pacing. The first half moves quite slow and you might fall asleep. Then, wham! All aboard the crazy train for some blood and mayhem. All this because an evil cult leader took a liking to Nicolas Cage's girlfriend, the titular Mandy. After the pair get kidnapped, Mandy gets drugged up and laughs at Linus Roach's noodle, which gets her immolated. Whoops! Then Nicolas Cage escapes, meets up with Bill Duke, who gives a quick exposition blast, and then Nicolas Cage seeks revenge against the cult and forges a giant video game axe. What? That escalated quickly. Then everything becomes one mental, bloodthirsty revenge thriller with ample gore and trippy visuals. I really don't know what to think about this film. These types of surreal films always attract the pseudo-intellectual types who overanalyze everything. I've read people saying, did you see the contrast with a traumatized Cage and a commercial for a cheddar goblin? Profound, isn't it? Maybe it is. But I did read an interview with Panos who said he liked the phrase cheddar goblin and wanted to make a quirky commercial about it, not to mention fan merchandise too. Maybe Panos just liked some quirky shit and threw it into the film. Maybe he wanted a giant chainsaw fight just because he thought it was awesome looking. Biker Cenobites, why the hell not? Random animation, sure, chuck it in there. It's hard to tell if elements were put into this film just because Panos thought they were cool looking and didn't really care about coherence or tone. There are some things I do like about this movie, though. The visuals are very engaging, and there are some really eerie set pieces. With that said, it did feel at times like I was watching a 2-hour-long Carpenter Brut music video. The acting was alright. Occasional bit of ham from Nicolas Cage, but he gave a good performance overall, although his best performances were when he was screaming his tits off. Still, he's come a long way from this.
Open my eyes! My eyes! Ah! Ah!
Mandy has an interesting score too, made by the late Johan Johansson, who died this year from too much booger sugar mixed with his medication. It's sad we won't be getting any more music from him. I don't know, I'm so conflicted by this film. I don't know if I liked it. I mean, the film has stuck in my mind, and I won't be forgetting it anytime soon. It's different, that's for sure. But it walks a fine line between art house pretentiousness and balls-to-the-wall crazy schlock. It often pairs together as well as Colgate and orange juice. I could definitely see a snobby film studies professor pontificating about this film and asking their class such bollocks as, what is the implicit meaning of this scene? How can we apply postmodern theory to this? Ugh. The film is pretty much an acid trip with your old pal Nicolas Cage. Just enjoy the crazy ride. Would I recommend Mandy? I have no bloody clue. Yes, if you're the kind of person who enjoys popping some Valium and listening to shoegaze music. That's all, folks. Alright, I think we can turn off the spooky vision. Happy Halloween to all you lovely viewers out there. Have lots of fun and try not to get diabetes. Also, a shout out to all those wonderful donators and patrons. Oh, these big-dicked donators will give you something to hang your towel on. Unless you're a lady, in which case they have a huge clit that'll poke your eye out. Okay, I'll stop kissing ass. Thank you for your kind donations, and thanks in general for watching. You have a great time, and... Oh, for fuck's sake. Are we really doing a skit? Right now? Hang on. Oh no, it's the virus, and it has infected my computer.
You are a Tosspot.
Indeed I am.
I will assimilate, computer. I will learn.
Oh no, how awful.
Downloading internet history.
Okay, time to stop.
What is Brazilian fart?
Stop.
What are tight 18-year-olds? What is
No,
nonsense?
that's research.
What is
Nope.
what called
Lies.
lesbian
Lies.
pegging,
Not my thing.
watching,
Not my thing.
meter,
Let's end
fisting,
it. Stop.
inflation.
Nope.
What is teen traps? What
I'm
are
unplugging you.
drugging? What is bird
I'm
bragging?
unplugging you. Phew.